Hi, travel agents. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Cindy, and I'll be your host for today. So, we have a very exciting webinar today. We have Discover Moab. And before we jump into the webinar, I just want to go over some quick housekeeping rules. So, if you have any questions, make sure to drop in the Q&A box right below, and we'll answer them at the end of the webinar. And we also have a great prize today of a $100 gift card. And you'll be qualified if you stay all the way till the end of the webinar, and the winner will be chosen offline and notified early next week. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce our lovely presenters. So we have here Alison and Mick. Hi, Alison and Mick. Thank you for joining us today. Would you guys like to just do a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Allison or Allie. I'm an assistant marketing director at the Moab Office of Tourism, and I mostly work with our PR and social media and owned content.
I'm Mick, also assistant marketing director here in Moab, and work on all things marketing.
Awesome, great. Well, I'm sure the agents are very excited to hear what you both have to present today. So please take it away.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Our computer is being a little bit clunky, so I apologize if it's a little slow. Okay, can you see that?
It's still loading for me.
Oh boy.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
Yay. Okay, great. Okay, so Moab is in Southeast Utah. If you know it, you probably know it because we're a gateway to two of the five of Utah's 95 national parks. But really, we think of Moab as a destination, not just a stop along the way of, a US road trip. And we'll show you why. So, a little bit about us. The Moab Office of Tourism, where we both work, is the destination marketing organization of Moab, Utah, and we're also a Grand County department. So our official DMO brand is Discover Moab, and that's where you'll find our website and our social media handles. All of those are under Discover Moab. Some fun facts about Moab. It's actually a rural town of only 5,000 people. It was once called the richest town in the USA during the 1950s uranium mining boom. And it's also a haven for outdoor adventurers and artists. Like a lot of people move here, maybe as a river guide or another outdoor guide, or they move here to work for a nonprofit and then they just never leave. And all the photos that we're going to show you in this presentation are accessible via our shared media library, so all of you guys can use those photos for free. How we work together. So we really rely on our partnerships with international travel agents and tour operators to show visitors like why they should come to Moab. Being a small town really does mean that we know a lot of the owners and managers, lodging properties and restaurants and guide companies personally. And so we're always happy to make those connections for you and make planning these trips much easier. So why Moab? So we're the gateway to two of Utah's 95 national parks. Arches is home to Delicate Arch, which you'll see photographed on the top there. It's also home to over 2,000 of these natural sandstone arches. And the views are accessible via car, so you can drive Arches National Park really easily. And they're also really easy to moderate to even some harder hikes. So really something for everyone in Arches. We're also a gateway to Canyonlands National Park. So Canyonlands is pretty big. It's split into 3 districts: the Island in the Sky district, the Needles, and the Maze. And Island in the Sky is the district accessible via Moab. And it's called that because you drive up on top of this mesa and then you look down to all the canyons below. And so that's what you'll see photographed on the bottom there. And the Island in the Sky district is also user accessible via pretty easy hikes. We're also home to a lot of guided adventures. And so we have a lot of public lands surrounding us, which means that there's a lot of outdoor recreation possibilities. So People can go out with local guides for mountain biking, for off-roading with like Jeeps and UTVs, for river rafting on the Colorado River, for rock climbing and canyoneering through our big sandstone walls, horseback riding, scenic flights and scenic hikes, scenic hikes. And also we have some new tour operators doing astronomy tours and stargazing tours, because Moab is an international dark sky community, and the surrounding national parks are certified international dark sky parks. So this is one of the best places in the world to see stars. We have a really fascinating history in this area. So starting way back, Moab was located on a vast inland sea, and so dinosaurs would trek through the mud, and that mud is fossilized, and so we have a lot of really cool dinosaur track sites that people can see. People have also been living on this land for a really long time, and so we have a lot of petroglyphs and pictographs that were carved and painted into rock faces that tell the stories of people who came before us and some of our indigenous folks who lived here. And then in more recent history, in 1870, ranchers and homesteaders turned this fertile valley into a place where they could farm fruit. And so we were also once known for our peaches, and we do still have a lot of old fruit trees in town. And you'll really see the, as you're driving down into town or when you're coming into town, once you hit the fertile valley, it feels really different and really amazing. And then in the 1950s, uranium mining made Moab the richest town in the USA for a bit until the subsequent uranium bust. And now we're a tourism hub. So we utilize a lot of these roads created during the uranium mining boom, and now people can explore the landscapes really easily. And also our community is really amazing. So in 2024, Booking.com rated Moab as the most welcoming city in the US and the 6th most welcoming city in the world. We were actually the only place in the US to make this list. And so we're a town of 5,000 people, but we're a really lively community of artists and musicians and outdoor adventurers. And so we have a lot of really exciting events. So people can create art alongside artists and residents at the national parks. They're there April to October. We have free concerts during the summertime and annual music festivals in the fall. And we also have 2 really wonderful art festivals in the summer and the fall that pull in artists locally and from all over the region. A couple itinerary ideas. You can go Wild West in Moab, do some off-roading in Canyonlands, do an astronomy tour, go horseback riding through Western film sets. We're a pretty historic filming location. One of the first Westerns created was actually filmed in Moab. And you can find dinosaur tracks. As far as scenic tours, you can hike and drive the beautiful national parks. You can stay in a yurt and stargaze at one of our state parks. And you can do guided archaeology hikes in all sorts of places, but we always recommend Grand Staff Canyon. It's really beautiful. And if you're looking for luxury tours, we do have luxury tour operators who go through Arches National Park. You can do scenic flights over Canyonlands National Park and the surrounding area. We have spas, and our local wineries and breweries often host live music from local bands. So that's our quick presentation on Moab. I'm really happy to answer any questions, and you can find our shared media library and guide contacts, hotel listings, all at this URL here.
Awesome. Thank you for the presentations. Short and sweet. Love that. So we do have a few questions here we'd like to ask you guys. So we have here Cheryl. She wants to know if you both know if the Rocky Mountaineers go through Moab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take this one.
The Rocky Mountaineer goes to Moab. There's a leg from Denver to Moab. And next year they are rebranding, and they'll be running trips through Salt Lake. So there's a lot of information online, RockyMountaineer.com, about the changing schedule. but it is running currently. I hope that answers your question, Cheryl. If you have other questions, you can email us or ask follow-up in the chat.
Awesome. So we have another question here from Chris. Chris has heard that there might be some price changes to the national parks. Do you guys know if that might happen or if it's happening?
Yeah, happy to speak to this one. So on July 3rd, there is an executive order that stated that the Secretary of the Interior, who oversees our national parks, is expected to adjust fees for the national parks for non-US residents. So we don't know exactly what those numbers are going to be yet, but as soon as we know, we will be posting it everywhere we can. But international visitation is really, really important to us and really, really important to the state too. And so know that we are keeping a really close eye on that news, and we want to let our travel partners know as soon as possible once we know what those fees are going to be.
Awesome. All right. So another question is, how can clients book a scenic tour of the national parks?
Yeah, a bunch of different ways to do it. So on discovermoab.com, we have a page that lists all of our guides and outfitters, and there you can search for like scenic tours through the national parks, and then you can choose an outfitter based on whatever you would like.
And you
Great.
can also look at Get Your Guide and Viator, the big tour operators. All guided tours should be listed there, and search reviews and pick the right tour for what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of our tour operators are working on very common booking platforms too.
Awesome. Well, travel agents, I'll send you all this information in a follow-up email as well. Let's see here. We have here Anna. She wants to know, are there any areas that are more prone to flash floods, and if there's any like warning system in place for that?
Yeah, great question. Our flash floods usually run through the two creeks in town, Mill Creek and Pack Creek. And within town, we have a really good warning system. Our city and our county have worked on that, where you'll get like a push notification if there's a flash flood. But really for flood safety, our monsoon season runs like June through early September, late August, early September. So those are the months where you really have to be aware of flash flooding. And during flash flood season, it's always, check the weather, make sure that there's not going to be a rainstorm on the horizon. If there is, then try to not hike or, think about your day, plan your day around when that storm is going to come in, and just stay away from the creeks, and obviously don't go canyoneering during flash flooding times. But yeah, that's a great question. And we haven't had floods that have like taken Moab by surprise. You can see really far out along the valley here. And so we can almost you can see a storm roll in and then watch it roll up to the mountains. And once it does, then the floods happen. So you won't be taken by surprise.
Right. Yeah, that's great to know. We have Judy here. Judy wants to know, would they have to make a reservation to the national parks, or can they just drive up there?
Yeah, great question. Arches National Park has timed entry during peak times. And so the timed entry program is still piloting, so it changes every year. But you can expect to have to book an entry time between April and October. This year, the timed entry is taking a break from July 7th to October 27th. So you won't need to book a timed entry time during those 2 months. But next year, we're expecting the timed entry to come back. And so April to October, you'll have to book a time for your vehicle or your client's vehicle to come into the park. And you can book those 6 months in advance. And once you're in the park, you're in for the whole day. So timed entry gives you a whole hour. So if you book like an 8 a.m. entry time. You have between 8 and 8:59 a.m. to enter the park. And then once you're in, you're in. You don't have to only be in the park for an hour.
I'd also add that you can always enter the park before 7 a.m. and after 4 p.m. So if anyone's ever worried about getting into the park, you can always go before those times or after. And 40% of tickets are available the next day. So sometimes when people are looking to plan a trip, they might be sold out at the time that they're looking for. But 40% of tickets will be available when you're in town, and usually you can get one. So no one should skip Moab because they don't have a timed entry ticket. There are lots of ways to get into the park. There's a visitor center in town. They're really great with helping people navigate the system. It's right on Main Street, and you can also always write us.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very great information to know. So we actually have a lot of people interested in the national parks. We have Jacqueline here. Jacqueline wants to know, is there any size restriction to vehicles or the type of vehicle that can go up there?
That's a great question.
All this information is online. You will see if people rent RVs, those can go into the park. I don't know that you could, drive a 18-wheel truck into Arches. I'm sure that information is online somewhere, but RVs and generally cars that would be accessible to tourists can all access the park. Arches is there's a paved road through the park with parking lots, and the major attractions are accessible, and there's parking for large vehicles at the most popular spots.
Great. We also have another question here. Cheryl wants to know, does Moab have any do-it-yourself fam opportunities?
Yeah, you can always reach out to us and we can help set something up like that.
Okay, so just send your contact over, it'll be all good.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So since you guys both live in Moab, is there any hidden gems that you would recommend that not many tourists will know about?
Good question.
I would say on our website, we have an adventure guide that talks about hikes and activities in the parks, but also outside the parks. So Allie went over Arches and Canyonlands, but she also mentioned all the access to public land. There's BLM land and National Forest Service, and there's a lot of really great things to do outside the parks. Example is Corona Arch, is one of the most popular hikes in the area. It's on BLM land. It's about 2 miles. It includes a steel ladder, and you go out to a really big buttress arch, one of the biggest arches in the area. But I would direct people to our adventure guide to look for other things that people are looking for. Grand Staff Canyon, which Allie mentioned, is also a really popular hike that's outside the parks. It's great on hotter days because a creek runs through it, so there's running water, and it ends in a big arch, Morning Glory Arch, which is really cool. But there's no end to activities in Moab. I always say I had to move here because there's so much to do. And I think our adventure guide is a good place to start to look for off the beaten path.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people always skip the Fisher Towers too. Those are like this really iconic, like funky sandstone towers that, stretch 400 feet into the air, and they're really beautiful, but they're not an arch. And so people usually skip over them. They're really worth seeing.
Awesome. Well, looks like that is all the questions we have for today. And again, agents, I'll send you all the information, so the website, the tour guides, and a follow-up email next week. And also I'll send you Mick and Allison's contact as well. So if you have any questions, you can directly email them. And that is all the questions we have. So again, thank you, Mick and Allison, for the lovely presentation. And thank you, travel agents, for being here with us today. And we'll see you all at the next Travel Week webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.